Hello, welcome to Blaine's Escape Corner. It is a magical Monday, a Mimi Monday, a wonderful time for us to hang out in the corner where we get to, just talk about what we like to escape with, and around here that's anime. We may chat video games down the line. We may chat more car racing. We may get into some other hobbies, but for right now, we're talking about anime, specifically the spring 2022 season. And this has been a doozy of a season when it comes to stuff that is good, stuff that is not good, and stuff that is bad. So let's get into our weekly, or our daily, I should say, updates as far as what we are watching. Again, you can follow me on annylist.co, link down in the description. If you want to see what I'm seeing when I'm seeing it, just set it to last updated. We got a hot, look at this steam, running hot sake today, so we're getting back into the drink of the night. I need to go refill, get myself a few more so that I can be ready for once this cold is over. I can actually imbibe a bit more than I am now. So let's get into the shows that we have been watching. Kampai. Ooh, baby. All right. So, as with any weekend, we had a couple days worth of shows to get going with. Oh no. Oh no, John. It's okay. The new one is a lot of head congestion and a lot of throat soreness for just those first few days. You'll wake up, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, someone cut my throat out of my body." So I don't have to feel it anymore. This is awful. This is bad. However, you little Dayquil, little NyQuil, maybe depending on your age bracket, see if you can get some of those monoclonals. I am a healthy 30-something male that people will just kind of laugh anytime I need some assistance. So good luck for me there. But I've been dealing with literally just gallons of green tea and Dayquil and NyQuil. But best of recovery to you on that. Yeah, good luck with that one. AnyList hipsters unite! Huzzah! AnyList.co. I think it's like one of the most cohesive, easy to do things. Like having a My Anime list, like I tried to make one of those back in the day, and it was like nice for tracking, but then the seasonal updates weren't there. And then there's so many seasonal update charts where you're like, oh, well, I have to go look at it here and then look it up on something else, where like now I can just pull up the seasonal chart and I can just add it straight to my list from there. So I'm a huge fan. The only other thing that I do is the animeschedule.net. So you make an account there, and then you can add all the shows that you want to watch, and you can see it kind of throughout the week. But you figure it out as far as like, oh, this show's open. This is my Saturday show. It takes no time. But just for the first few weeks, I like to use the animeschedule.net as well. You can also tell by AnyList.co's rankings that they have a little bit more refined taste than your average anime user, if you understand. Day 3 so isn't bad anymore. Great! You're gonna go, great! just like I was on Friday. Alright. Let me kampai again. Best episode ever. Best of the season. Best as of yet. Love After World Domination. Giving us the beach episode. Did I already talk about this? Probably, but I don't care. I want to talk about it again. It was so much fun. I'm pretty sure I watched it on Friday, but it's close enough to the weekend for me, and I want to talk about it because it was great. Again, I can't believe it. I'm excited for everybody who goes to Colossal Con that wants to dress up as Culver and Bear. That's gonna be exciting. That's gonna be fun. That'll be great. Stoked for that one. Getting into what I actually watched this weekend would be RPG Real Estate. It's a show. Wait, did I watch that one too? Wait, hold on. Did I already watch that one too? I think I already did that. I think I already reviewed that one. RPG Real Estate is still weird. It's still super cutesy and has like dark undertones. There you go. There's the review, just in case I forgot to do it. If it ends up going the path of having these dark undertones mean something, this show will be worth watching. If it's not, cut it out. If you're from the future and you're like, should I watch RPG Real Estate? Go to a future review of mine and see if you should, because as of right now, it's still kind of a heavy meh. Yeah, exactly. It feels great. Goodbye, lung. I went on the anime guys channel to go on the channel. We recorded some stuff to show for his top fives, but we originally tried to do it on a previous date, and I was like dying. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, like trying to like hit that cough button so that I didn't like destroy the recording. But we had to delay it. So I'm glad he gets a clean recording of me and not one where I'm like getting ready to just lose a lung every couple minutes. So look forward to that. I'll be announcing that on my Twitter. And probably if there's any way I can announce it here, I don't know how that would be with YouTube. I don't have a community tab yet, but tell your friends. Maybe I'll get a community tab. It'd be great. We can get our own custom names, so I don't have to keep sending people a weird link. I can use the Blaine's Escape Corner. But yeah, it'll be fantastic. Alrighty, Shikimori's not just a cutie. This episode has to keep us through 2 weeks because they've got a little COVID delay. A little COVID delay with the Shikimori. So we these delays, from what I understand, were already kind of pre-planned with the production, but episode 7 is going to be delayed. So episode 6 is going to be all we have for a while. And I'm talking about that because I am trying to rack my brain to remember what the heck it was about. What is going on, pop culture mechanic? We are getting into our daily anime updates. Talking Shikimori's not just cutie, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay that I don't remember what Shikimori's not just a cutie was like, because it's such a boring and forgettable show, and everybody should be watching instead Love After World Domination and Couple of Cuckoos, because we've got article writers to take care of that for us. So we're gonna dive into an article later on Shikimori that'll help me remember just how boring it was. Festival. I remembered. See, I knew I'd figure it out. That's a sign that this is not a quality use of your time. This is not a quality use of your escape. This is not something that you should be wasting your time with. Shikimori is not just a cutie. Has been done 100 times before, and this one's just as bland as all the rest. And so we'll dive into that. We'll see someone who actually really likes it later in this episode. In the heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki, fun time episode. This one, this is where we're gonna start to get into the mechanics of the men versus women a little bit more, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. Drop Shikimori, pretend you watched it, and say how insane it was, the Shikimori. I can be a part of the discussion. Watches half the episode. Yeah, it's pretty much that. Just repeat. You figured it out. Anyway, Kunoichi Tsubaki. So we get this idea that they've separated men and women, and so the ninjas in the female camp are all told that men are brutes, men are this evil monster, they need to avoid them. Our main character Kunoichi has like fallen in love with the idea of men, and now in this episode we're introduced into a female ninja who has been raised with the male ninjas, which is kind of mind-blowing for the whole concept. Like, how did she get in there in the first place? What kind of situation led to all this? No idea what it is at all. However, we now have a connection for Tsubaki to start to figure out about men or learn about men, so we can see if she's in love with the idea of men or if she actually does actually start have feelings without even meeting the opposite sex there. So it'll be fun to see how this character sort of integrates into the group and how they move forward from there. And now we have an entire scene of every character saying penis in Japanese, which makes it automatically hilarious because they have no idea what that is or means or anything like that. And they were just told chin chin, and we just have a chin 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 chin. Like, that scene is just hilarious and just great. What is up, Michael? How are you doing today? Hyped as hell. Finished your last hard final. Woo! Hopefully you took that hard final, and now that you've walked away from it, it is soft and limp. All in E-class. The way I pronounced, okay, yes, it's cuckoo. I know it's cuckoo. I know the word is cuckoo. It's supposed to be cuckoo. But every time I read couple of, my everything needs to follow the ka with couples. Like, I need to alliterate that sound or whatever the alliteration for the first sound is, because that is couple of cuckoos. Like, every time I look at it. And so far, I like the main character there. We can jump to that review as well. Your only goal is to derail the stream later. Well, I think you're getting pretty good at that. You found a few of the buttons to push. But you won't derail me now because I'm talking about a couple of cuckoos. I love the direction they're going. They are focusing in on Sachi wanting to meet her sister, wanting to get to know her sister. It's fantastic. I love it. We're seeing them interact. We get the we're sitting there laughing because she says, I'm intimidated because she's so beautiful, and you're like, you guys are the same dang character. Like, your model is copy paste. I get that we're supposed to feel like I'm the ugly duckling, but it's like those old renditions of The Prince and the Pauper, where they just kind of like wipe a piece of mud off their face and then they're like, oh, they're the same person. Oops, I guess she's beautiful. Great job there, sticking to Sachi wanting to know her sister and engage with her family that she hasn't met, the blood relation there, and to move forward with that. I'm so glad that it's keeping to that and not going into the hell's it called, the Wincest vibes. I don't want to have a repeat of that one. Hero, I hope it's a throwaway line that she's like, oh, I'm promised to somebody. I hope that's a throwaway line that she just gave out so that she could keep it up, because I love that dynamic of having them both be really, really competitive and really, really just want to one up each other. I think that will make their relationship start to blossom. You know, we've all seen that in film. It's a classic trope that we enjoy, and I hope it maintains that competition style. Also the contrived way in which we're moving them back into the house this episode was good, but I'm here for cuckoos, I'm cuckoo for cuckoo puffs, I think is how the phrase goes there, right? What's next on this list? Let's talk Trapped in a Dating Sim. Trapped in a Dating Sim, the world of Otome games is tough for mobs. Is a fun show. Wait, hold on. All the girls were great this episode. Sachi's best, Hiro second best, Erica third best. It's gonna be a thing. Maybe a problem. Is it a problem if we enjoy it though? It just yeah. No, it's not a problem if you enjoy it, as long as we're talking about what I think we're talking about. As long as you enjoy it, you can enjoy it. And as long as you're okay with somebody else making fun of it, that's probably the realest difference in maturity, is letting somebody else be upset at the things that you enjoy, and we're both okay with it. Trapped in a Dating Sim. I am still enjoying the show, still enjoying it dubbed. I think it's a fantastic one for one of these newer voice actors getting out and taking that lead role. The different types of voices you get to make, where they're coming across as kind of haughty and like, we're gonna do this the right way, blah blah blah, and they can get under their breath to the robot and be like, you stupid little, you sound pretty good, and just really fun range to hear from a voice. I mean, that'll literally be one to stick on their demo reel. Just take every line from this. Plus, when you listen to it dubbed, and you can hear the crowd booing the main guy, and you just hear, "Why don't you die, shithead?" Like. There's just something about that you don't get no matter how much you understand Japanese. Like, you can understand Japanese all you want, but hearing somebody use a slur, a derogatory term on somebody in your own language is just hilarious, on most levels. So I'm enjoying it. I'm getting a good giggle out of it. Continuing to... it's just absurd. We're not supposed to like the game. He doesn't like the game. Every time you think he's out of the game so that he doesn't have to be in the game anymore, he gets sucked back into the game. So it's still a fun show overall. And I would say if you're a dub only kind of person, or you need something to watch and enjoy while you do something else, and so not having to read subtitles is helpful, then definitely Trapped in a Dating Sim is one for you this season. Finally this weekend, you all know what's coming next. We had Spycross Family. Spycross Family was a really good show that we watched this weekend. We got Anya getting her cute little uniform, going to the school. We're meeting the target. We're getting the, how do we make it so that we tell the audience how this works? Well, what if he forgets because he's got a lot going on in his life, and then he has to ask to get updated on the mission? And it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll go with that. And he's like, just tell me again. And so we get updated on the mission. We've got the demerits, we've got the positives. And then we get Anya in there, and we're going to see how she's going to make it through the school life. And she's going to do that with life lessons from Mom. Good old Mom, making sure that we all know that you can use self-defense when it's in defense of yourself or others. Fantastic, hilarious. I love the immediate, oh, that's right, I think you stepped... we're getting an excuse right off the bat. It's fantastic. I think there should be a little more leeway given to our headmaster friend here. But this episode was fun. Mommy-daughter training day was great, and then just seeing Anya put it to work almost immediately. And for everybody, just remember, you can only use deadly force if you yourself feel as though you are gonna die, or if someone else near you is gonna die. Defense of self, defense of others. Dude got killed by a 4-year-old. Yeah. Anya is great. That smile, that that same smile got me thrown into lockers in middle school. I'll just say that. I did get to defend myself. I didn't defend others though. I had to defend myself. So, but that smile will get you pushed. Like if you're watching this, you're in middle school, you're in high school. Nothing will hurt someone who wants to hurt you more than smiling and trying to walk away. Nothing will hurt them more. And that is a true statement. And the second that her little smug smile came out, I was like, oh, snap. What's going to happen? I had seen, of course, like the hints, the pictures, the like, oh, this is the episode, blah, blah, blah. Look at the manga. Like, of course, people are going to spoil stuff for you. I wasn't expecting it to be as out of the blue as it was, but it was fantastic. Fantastic overall. Super great. Alrighty. Let's see what we have on the docket. So I have 2 articles. Like I said, Shikimori was so boring, I forgot what Shikimori was about. Specifically. The obvious answer is obvious. Another reason to delete Twitter. But if I delete Twitter, I won't be able to network, and then my channel won't get off the ground. Also, I'm not too worried about spoilers. I know spoilers is a pretty contentious point of debate. However, I'm not one to dislike a story. I tend to see a spoiler and then I'm like, okay, how do we get there? How do we reach that? What gets us to that point? And if I didn't have Twitter, I wouldn't know that they're remaking Predator in a thing called Prey. Think of that. Think of that. That can only be accomplished one way only, and that's to go back to Predator 2. You avoid spoilers by following 2,500 artists. If I follow enough art, I'll never know what's going on. Wait, that's the wrong article. That is another way to do it. You could definitely get into it with that. Do. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's read this one first, I guess. We can do the Shikimori article first. This is our friend, the friendly overlord, Jacob, writing articles on sideoffiction.com. Apparently there's something special about this article, but that was just in a tweet, so it could be just some tweet marketing in order to get somebody to read it, which success. I'm here to read it. Since we don't have anything from our old plan. Character you really like was fun in this episode. Yeah, Hachimitsu was pretty great. Pretty great. And I also like Inuzuka. Inuzuka does well. So, my thoughts. Episode summary. Oh, goodness. Some people begin with a very sunburned Izumi lying on the couch, apparently taking it really hard. I don't like sunburn either, but you think that almost drowning thing would have protected him for the most part. Actually, no, you can burn quite a bit, even if you're underneath the water surface. And I have had sunstroke. I will say, if he's got sunstroke, that'll put you down. I was not upset at this idea in this episode, that's for sure. Anyway, while he's talking to Shikimori, he invites her to a summer festival to go see some fireworks, hanabi. If you want to learn some Japanese, hanabi means fireworks, and it's very important to the matsuri, or the festivals in Japan. If you had any doubt this was a romance anime, that should have cleared it up. It's just in this case, it isn't happening at the end of the season. Yeah, because they're already in a couple. It's not like they're gonna join each other like that. To give you a point of reference to where we are in the manga right now, we're about halfway through volume 3. Gotcha. Thank you. I needed that. This takes place right after the summer stuff from before, so while we've been cutting around for a lot of the smaller stuff, we're now staying pretty on course. This should take us, with the help of a few smaller scenes, to probably volume 4. Starting next episode and to one of the bigger story arcs. A big story arc? Oh, let me guess. Is Shikimori gonna do something that protects Izumi? Is Izumi gonna get in trouble? Is Shikimori gonna get flustered? Will she get jealous of somebody doing something to Izumi? My goodness. This person's read the manga. They must really like it. Is the manga, like, what I need to know from someone whose opinion I trust, is the manga for Shikimori good? Or is it the same blah that the show is? Because if it's the same blah as the rest of the show, then how did this get so popular? There's 1,000 of these. She's not even, like, that crazy, like, well-drawn. Shikimori's, well down! It's going right for us! Blam, 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 blam. Summer fun, that is, still jolly happens at the festival, indeed. If you've seen one romance anime, you can probably predict how things go. They both show up in a yukata, get embarrassed, but compliment each other, the whole deal. They do the normal summer festival activities. We get to see a pouty-faced Shikimori, which is kind of rare. But the next scene is slightly controversial bit. Oh no! Once again, a scene that people really, really like from the manga was altered. Oh no, manga alterations. Manga rise up! This time, only slightly though, Izumi apologizes for causing Shikimori trouble and offers her some sweets and to make it up to her. She reveals that she doesn't really care for sweets before giving a cute sticking out face. The main reason people love the manga scene is because of the outfit Shikimori has, I assume. She has a very mature look that I think people probably went crazy over. We're going crazy! Watch out! That's the only thing I can think of, because this anime version does literally the exact same thing the manga scene does, just slightly shorter and in a different location. Man, this person's fighting. They're like, I read the manga, and I know these manga people don't like it, but they're crazy because it's the same scene. It's the same scene. If this guy says it's the same scene, then I'm gonna trust him that it's the same scene, based on zero evidence. However, it makes it funnier for me to say the manga's still just as boring. I can't believe you people. Just slightly shorter and in a different location. Nothing about a scene's meaning change, and I would argue that it's more coherent here. But I do know people want to see literally every scene translated to anime form without any change at all, except they don't realize what a mess of a series that would make. Oh, so it'd be messy, would it? So the manga's not good. I'm still not quite over it. The rest of the episode progresses in a very similar fashion to the manga. There are some hijinks, normal stuff, and Shikimori being good at everything, but we do see one of the cuter moments when Izumi's bad luck rubs off. Shikimori breaks her sandal somehow and hurts her feet pretty bad. Yeah, how does our boy, who gets everything bad luck thrown at him, not have the broken shoe? How is this? Is this like Binbu Gamiga, where like the bad luck is rubbing off on other people, or like somebody else's good luck is making it so that other people are having more bad luck? Like, are we gonna get a throwback to Binbu Gamiga, the bad luck girl or good luck girl? Izumi, being the absolute catch he is, offers to carry her to see the fireworks. How on earth he ever thought that would happen? It's crazy that it worked. His bad luck manages to hold off for long enough to not get hit by a car or something. Yeah, it just doesn't get hit by a car or something. I don't know, it's a freaking show. And he takes her up to a secret spot that his father told him about. Because like Izumi, his father was also probably a damn good catch. Izumi is more like his mom, so don't you dare compare him to the Tanuki curse right here. The two have a heart-to-heart. Don't get anywhere near kissing since this isn't the final episode, and they've been dating for months now. And Izumi falls down the steps and almost kills them both because he's tired. Hold on. Nowhere near a kissing episode. Is Japan still in the position where, like, they have to date for a year in order to kiss? Like, I mean, I knew my wife, then girlfriend at the time, So when I did ask her out, we kissed that same day. But is that a thing? And this was back in high school, so like I'm not even talking about like third date rule, we don't kiss until the third date. Oh, we kiss on first date. Like none of that, like as I'm in my 30s, but like talking to actual high schooler to high schooler comparison here. I don't remember that being a thing. I don't remember waiting that long. Izumi falls down. Izumi falls down the steps and almost kills them both because he's tired. They could have been isekai'd this episode, and that would have been legendary. We are in the Koof crew. We are Aniki. The secret to speaking Japanese, by the way, is just to say something like a Yakuza or like an old samurai Yojimbo. You do that, and you'll be able to pronounce any Japanese word you want. You just read it like you're an old samurai, and you'll be able to say it like the correct way. That's my little secret tip for anybody. It's then that Papa Izumi swoops in to save the day and carries both Izumi and Shikimori off into the sunset because his parents were also watching the fireworks from the secret spot, but were so nice to not bother them. If there's anything we take away from this episode, it's that Izumi has some of the most understanding parents of all anime and manga. That's a terrible idea. That officially ends Jolly Summer Fun Time and also Volume 3. That means next time we'll be getting into Redacted. Yeah, I can't spoil things, even if I know what will happen. That wouldn't be any fun. Do it. Do it. What I will say is that if people have wanted some more drama in their relationship, you're going to be getting some for the next few episodes. Probably we get to some bigger stuff, even if a lot doesn't happen in front of Izumi. You'll see what I mean then. Ooh, spoiler hint. I secretly want you to watch more because I like this show, because I think that boring little relationships between high schoolers who don't know what relationship is great anime, and it's way better than any other show this season. How could you even watch something else? We found out this episode that they knew each other for a long time before day. What is this? Yeah. Timeline where? I feel like this show was drawn. It was written by AI. This entire show, this manga, was written by an AI that said, here are a bunch of popular shows. Here's a bunch of popular tropes. And so it ate up all of this classic anime, all of this modern anime, and it was like, okay. Everything that like the hipsters love is strong women, weak men, and vague romance. And so it built this vague romance where it's like, I don't even care that Izumi has bad luck anymore. It's not even a plot point at this rate. He's gone from bad luck, like stuff falling from the sky to try to kill him, to my girlfriend's sandal broke. Like that's what his bad luck has turned into. We've completely like pivoted away from it. We should have had a Last Airbender opening explaining their relationship. Yeah, exactly. In elementary school, Shikimori met Izumi for the first time, and it just shows him like trip or something stupid like that. But then the curse happened. If you like this show, I'm so torn to say, go ahead and enjoy this show. Because I feel like a lot of my like preference is to tell people like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna tease this show. I'm gonna make fun of it because I don't understand why so many people like it. But if you like it, if you like something, you should enjoy it and not care about what I think. However, I think if you like this show to the point of saying it's great or it's good or anything like that, you're diminishing so many good shows. Like, there's so many good shows you could watch. just this season, we've got other good shows to watch. And if you're really bored and you want to watch other good anime, there's such a back catalog. You could go back and watch Full Metal Panic. You could go back and you could watch School Rumble. You could go back and you could watch X Driver. Like, there's so many good things. Wait, has she been keeping it alive this whole time then? Is that the timeline we're building? But his parents never met her? They don't seem uninvolved in his life? No, she didn't save him from everything, because we got a flashback where he had a freaking tree in his head and it was like spurting blood. So there was a before time. There was a pre-Shiki time. And if we're to assume that they've only recently been in the same roof to meet his parents, then we'll go from there. As far as that goes, that they haven't really known each other for that long. So there's just so much. There's so much better anime. There's so many better shows. You could watch Full Metal Alchemist. Decades and decades of good anime. You could watch Speed Racer. Speed Racer's a great show. I really love the original Speed Racer run, especially with the dub. Back when nobody knew what they were doing when it came to dub and anime back then, but it was fantastic, and the colors are great, and it takes you back to like a weird sense of like old Americana from the Japanese perspective. It's such a good show. How long was the friendship arc? Because his parents should have met her if it was for an extended period of time. They knew about her, but you'd think that you're like someone, when you're a kid and you've got a friend, that your parents would have them over for dinner at some point. BS is before Shikimori. Speed Racer is really funny. It's also really exciting. Like, somehow cross-country races always turn into like some sort of battle for world supremacy, but then also it is just a race at the end of the day. I love the entire concept. Plus it's that old school formula where, and I mean formula in like formula racing formula, where they don't just start in their cars, they actually have to sprint and then get in their car and start it up and then go. Just fantastic. Auto jacks, which is a thing that race cars have, even though the auto jacks in real cars are typically like pneumatic. So they plug in an air compressor and the jacks jack the car up so they can do everything, and then they remove it and it pops and goes. But jump jacks on the steering wheel are so great. Really enjoyed watching as a kid. Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, Speed Racer was such a good show. Such a good show. And I didn't watch it until I mean I had seen episodes because I think Hanna-Barbera had it, and they were running like reruns here and there, so I would catch it when I was at my grandma's like in the 90s. But I didn't really watch it like stem to stern until 2004, 2005, when I had got a computer in my room for the first time and just downloaded every anime. I was like, I need to catch up on decades of anime, and I just kept downloading everything I could, so that I could do that, because back then you didn't get little letters from your ISP saying, hey, we noticed that you were using a torrent. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Back then it was like, I've got dial-up and I've got time. I'm gonna watch all the anime. You just find everything you can and just cross your fingers. I don't think I got any viruses that were like major computer wiping viruses back then. Back when it was all torrenting and all that. Because that was the argument when like mom found out. She was like, you can't do this, you're gonna get a virus, you're gonna blow the computer up, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, man, that's you're thinking of Napster. You can't get a virus from a torrent. I straight up used that argument because that's what like a friend of mine had told me, who also did a bunch of torrents. Those were the halcyon days for me. We're getting every single show I could and watching it stem to stern. Back when I had time to watch all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, all of the speed racers. I also caught up on like Initial D and everything. That was the before time. Who owns Speed Racer now? Is it still let's see. Maka go go go. Shonen. Usosha Shueisha. Shueisha might have still owned the manga. The TV series licensed. Oh, currently it's Funimation. Okay. They bought it from Translux. Everybody with the company back then. You just be like, I speak Japanese. I know those Japanese guys got a show. I gave them $5 and we're gonna translate it and we're gonna dub it over into VHSs. I don't know. $5 might have been a lot back then. It could be the equivalent of $100K nowadays, but now it's all so expensive to buy licenses. Plus, you've got to be there and know who it is. That, you know, it's sort of pricing newbies out of the market. But at least we got High Dive. At least we've got High Dive, so we have some competition in the world. So when Netflix eventually goes belly up, we can still get anime that's a little more art house, a little more interesting, a little more indie, a little more fun. Oh, I'm just glad Netflix stopped with the anime like gating on all of it. They're like, oh yeah, it releases weekly. We should release an episode weekly. Thank you. Freaking show. What took so long to get that done? I watched a little Quinty Quince. I think the show is just a bad adaptation that doesn't do the winner justice. The show ignores her, but the manga doesn't, from what you've read. Yes. Yes, the show is pretty focused on 2 characters for the majority of the show that we currently have. Whereas the manga is a different telling. They adapted it a bit differently. And I think they probably had the hindsight of, here's the manga, and here's who the characters that everybody loves from the manga. Why don't we just focus on these stories? I bet you that's what they did. They were able to use some of those character voting sheets and everything and be like, we're going to focus on these characters instead of, the characters that, ultimately win. But, characters you ultimately win, but people hate. Yeah, that doesn't make a good show. That don't make a good show. Let's get everybody really hyped about these characters and then be like, you lose, sucker. This is a real rug pull of a take there from the studio. Speaking of production, we have had some interesting co-productions recently. A few years ago, we had Trigger with, was it, why am I forgetting? Kyoto Annie? Wait, hold on, Google, save me. Darling in the Franxx was Trigger and A1 Pictures. A section of A1 Pictures that went on to be known as Cloverworks. I don't remember if Cloverworks was like a studio underneath A1, and then they just were like, oh, put our name on it instead. But that was an interesting collab. And it's something that's always kind of interesting to me, because I think it's kind of the, like, make the ultimate video game. Like, if you had a game like a first-person shooter with car mechanics that also had, something else. Like, you start adding genres. What if you took multiple studios that were all good at a different thing and had them do that thing? So, like, your car mechanics and physics and everything are being built by Polyphony Studios, the Gran Turismo company? What if the first person shooting was handled by 343 or someone who's familiar with some of the really good first person stuff from then on? Like you start combining all of these different levels from different studios using the strengths of each one. So something like when Darling in the Franxx came out, I loved the idea of Trigger, some of those ex-Gynax people doing like mechs and having that fighting stuff, and then taking and letting the character animation be done by someone at Cloverworks or A1. I don't know what the workload balance was on that, but that was kind of my thought, was like, hey, I wonder if because it doesn't take like a ton of individual people to get those designs done, if you could actually use multiple studios consistently like that. And then we get stuff like Spy Family, which is Wit and Cloverworks. Now let's pull up Wit's filmography here, just so that we can. I'm gonna pull up Wit and Cloverworks, because I feel like these two, at least my brain tells me that both of these studios do very similar-ish works. But maybe my brain's bad. Darling in the Franxx, ew, shut your mouth. Darling in the Franxx, great. Darling in the Franxx, Trigger! So Cloverworks, we're going to use them specifically. We got Darling in the Franxx, Slow Start, Persona 5, Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girls, Ace Attorney, Fairy Tail, a bunch of episodes, Promise Neverland, Fate Grand Order, Promise Neverland. You know, you've got kind of happy-go-lucky, but also very like murderous intent under the surface. Billionaire Detective, Promise Neverland 2. It didn't do great there, but that was just an adaptation. Horimiya, good balance of characters. Wonder Egg Priority. Shadow's House, again, some really, really dark ulterior stuff. Tokyo 24th Ward, My Dress Up Darling, we've sung its praises. Akabi, they threw all the budget at Akabi for like one scene every episode. They were like, all right, this is the scene where you're gonna draw Akabi as beautifully as you can. I want you to wish this was in an art gallery, and that's your go. Just go. Really beautiful stuff. But wow, they got a lot. Just boom, boom, boom. Dress Up, Akabi, Spy Family, Heart of Kunoichi, and then these two coming out later. A lot of characters, a lot of some of that darker, ulterior stuff. Doesn't really jump out any one specific way. Wit Studio, the original Attack on Titan, so before we got the like heavy lines, maybe. But also some work with some 3D there. Rolling Girls, Seraph of the End, Kabanari, okay. With Studio, again, some heavy CG, but also working with some flowing, heavy contrast imagery. Ancient Magus Bride, Vinland Saga. Vivi Fluorite's really good. If you haven't seen that one, I would highly recommend. Promise Neverland Season 2 is definitely pretty screwy from jump. Yeah, having watched all of the videos on like, here's the manga, and here's what we got. Like, I'm like, wow, there's quite a bit that we forgot about there. Ranking of Kings, Spy Family, and Onipon. So looking at the works from both of these studios, I don't see what the strength is of one that makes up for the weakness of the other. I don't see why we needed to have this dual production here. So I'm curious to see this article, if it gets into like actually why that occurred. Make it so people can clip it and upload it to YouTube and drive interest in our show. Isn't that the secret to all marketing, is make it viral? Just make it viral, Fivehead. It's no secret that Spy Family is a co-production between Studio Wit and Cloverworks. Yeah, it's literally on the episodes, like it says Wit Cloverworks. But what's the backstory behind the deal? What does it involve? Ooh, backstory. I love this. I love the intrigue. What does it involve? What are the dynamics, history, and intent of anime co-productions in the first place? Hey, looks like I found the article for us. And I didn't even read this prior to doing it. I just saw Sakuga blogs say something about Spy X Family. I was like, yeah, that's why is that two people? It doesn't feel like it needs to be. I feel like everything we've seen has been very safely nestled into either one's repertoire. A recent interview in Nikkei Entertainment confirmed that Spy Cross Family's anime project started with a pitch by distributing behemoth Toho to Studio Wit. You know, like we used to get on YouTube those little videos from like the AniTubers where they would just have the different studios. I just kind of picture Toho as like that like a godlike giant character just kind of like shows up and is like, do this, and then just walks away. Although public confirmations are always valuable, this was already guessed before the show even started. The production may be credited to two different studios that have comparably big roles, but the conceptual stages lean towards creators with known ties to Wit, if not directly employed by them. The most relevant example is, of course, director and series composer Kazuhiro Furuhashi, appointed by Wit producer and company board member Tetsuya Nakatake, who held Furuhashi in high regard as they'd worked together many times, most notably in their producer-director tag teams for Le Chevalier d'Eon and Real Drive during the mid to late double aughts. The biggest distributor in town, suggesting the project to a regular hitmaker studio is about as unsurprising as their decision to entrust it to their close comrades. Okay? What appears to be less common, at least if you aren't well versed in anime production dynamics, is the decision taken after that to tackle the project alongside Cloverworks. Well, I hope you answer this question. Again, the main reason is something that was already guessed beforehand due to the friendship between specific producers, but Nakatake went into more detail by explaining that the genesis of the project was the anime studio meeting events. It's anime studio meeting events. We meet every Monday and get some food at the Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn. Okay. I don't know why the Holiday Inn, that's just kind of what I picture. For a brief period of time, Anista gathered producers from different studios to share their insights and goals with each other. Nakatake was a regular guest alongside an old pal in Yuichi Fukushima, Aniplex's star animation producer, who's now acting as the de facto leader of Cloverworks. What is he, like, taken over by Ku? The de facto leader of Cloverworks, Yuichi Fukushima. The two of them began considering the possibility of working together in a major way around 1819 with the encouragement of Wit's president as well. Few years later, the right circumstances finally manifested, hence why the idea of co-production was pitched to Fukushima. An unsurprising but nonetheless interesting backstory. Okay, so they wanted to work on something together. This begs the question, what are those circumstances? And while we're at it, what has that co-production entailed? Both studio producers have explained that their goal with this deal was achieving production stability in the long run, all but confirming that Spy Family will have multiple seasons by saying that they've envisioned it as a long-time commitment. Nakatake even added that a major reason why he chose Furuhashi as a director was that he trusts his ability to continue delivering high-quality storyboards in time. That could be rough. So rather than a flashy burst of animation energy that quickly dissipates, they're aiming for a consistently solid package with deliberately placed highlights. As valid as that approach is, those official statements have a clear marketing intent. So you have to read between the lines and pay attention to the state of both studios to realize what's actually going on. The seedy underbelly rears its head. Excuse me. The truth is that neither studio, and especially none of their selected teams for this project, would be in the right situation to handle this series alone. Wit's crew gathered around Nakatake, and the animation producers Kazue Hayashi and Kazuki Yamanaka happens to be comprised of folks coming right off of Tetsuo Araki's boring. This is patently obvious from its main animators like Keisuke Okura, and involves roles as critical as Furuhashi's assistant series directors Takashi Katagiri and Norihito Takahashi. While Boring had been finished ahead of its release a few weeks ago, we're still talking about a team that had little to no break at all between major projects. If they'd had to tackle Spy Cross Family alone following Toho's original pitch, the project, the quality of the animation, the livelihood of the staff, or both would have crumbled with time. While a co-production isn't a magical solution to cutthroat scheduling, having the workload is certainly a way to make it more bearable. It's worth noting that the Cloverworks crew wasn't in a comfortable situation either. Although the studio's animation producer on this project is the relatively inexperienced Taito Ito from Horimiya and Norimono Man, the core team is very much gathered around the aforementioned Fukushima, who only just wrapped up his previous show in a Akebi sailor uniform. Again, this includes people he personally appointed like character designer Kazuaki Shimada, an acquaintance from Promised Neverland, as well as others who have had no time to spare since Akebi, like the last assistant series director Takahiro Harada. As much as Fukushima's magnetism can attract renowned creators like beloved director Tatsuya Nagai and the popular leader of the team, Team Imus, Atsushi Nishigori. We're talking about two studios that would be in for a nightmare if they had to tackle this project by themselves. The producers aren't lying when they talk about their personal relationship leading to this cooperation, nor are they misleading people by saying their goal is long-term production stability. But you should still keep in mind that there are clear reasons why this partnership happened, specifically in this project. Right, so they were both stressed for time, so by using these two teams, they were able to make it. Why wouldn't they be able to just use a double-sized team on one? Like Spy Family's huge. How could one studio not have just taken the double team duties or something like that? Like we got twice as many people or something. We gotta not do this show, but we're gonna do this show. Let's find out. Maybe we'll know when we learn about the dynamics of the co-production. Will we find out more? Find out next time when I'm done drinking this. This time on reading this. The dynamics of anime co-production. Now that you know how Spy X Family ended up in this situation, it's a good time to find out exactly what does co-producing anime imply. While there are as many co-production models as there are co-production projects, two. Just kidding, there's gotta be more, but I only know of like a couple off the top of my head. Spy X Family, or Spy Cross Family if you're French, is a good starting point due to its fairly even distribution. As previously mentioned, the most fundamental roles like direction and writing lean slightly towards Wit, as they're the studio with the project was pitched to, but both the groundwork and execution have the two studios represented in essentially all aspects. In practice, this means there are multiple duos leading specific departments. Spy Family has two art directors, Kazuo Nagai and Hisayo Usui. The former appointed by Wit, the second belonging to Cloverworks' in-house team, as well as two chief animation directors in Cloverworks Shimada and Wit's Kyoji Asano. For a couple of very representative examples, even in roles where one studio has the leading voice, the execution is spread reasonably well between the two. Madbox's Akane Fushihara was appointed by Wit as the show's director of photography, with Cloverworks' Yuya Sakuma as her assistant, while the former studio understandably provides a supervisor to oversee the execution of every episode. It's the latter that is providing more sheer compositing personnel to every episode. In the end, things balanced out in the fair way. When it comes to producing each episode, which in this context means providing the directors, animators, and the effort. Providing the directors and animators. The effort continues to be evenly spread out, following an alternating model. Each episode thus far has been split cleanly between the two studios when it comes to those roles, with Wit producing the odd-numbered episodes, while Cloverworks handles the even-numbered ones. Ooh, interesting. Blop, 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 blop. This entire concept goes to show how insane it is and how important that like art direction role is. If they're going every other episode and we aren't ending up with this is a fight heavy episode, this is a emotional faces heavy episode, that they're able to keep really good consistency and they're just straight up dividing episodes, that's amazing. That's really cool to see. If that's how they're doing this, because that's well coordinated. This will continue moving forward, perhaps with the exception of some climactic episodes, and with the asterisk that this specific order may shift whenever the show hits a fully outsourced episode. If that were to just replace one of the main studio slots rather than act as a buffer for both, this otherwise orderly approach could be thrown off balance for a bit. While you can never take long-term stability for granted, especially when both studios arrived with no breathing room. Spy X Family, or Spy Cross Family, like I said, is on paper a textbook example of anime co-production. Of course, you shouldn't take this to imply that all anime co-productions are reasonable arrangements, nor that splitting things in the middle is the only valid approach to cooperation. Co-produced projects are very situational, and studios may find themselves in a situation where assigning specific elements of the title to one studio makes more sense. One such example has been in the most recent rise, though it's not always labeled as such for reasons we'll get into later, are collaborations between 2D and 3D animation studios. You'll often find the former handling most standard scenes, while the latter focus on a major element of that work that is naturally less taxing to portray with CGI, such as mech, large creatures, dancing performances, and so on. A recent example of this would be Godzilla Singular Point, brought to life by two powerhouses in their own fields like Bones and Orange. Exactly, where you have a studio that's like very good at like mech. Like if you had Sunrise that was gonna collab, you'd be like, all right, Sunrise, you draw the robots and we'll draw the people. Don't worry about it, because Sunrise draws people the same way they draw robots with giant frickin' foreheads. On Britain. That's right, they did put this down on paper. The truth is that as long as the result is satisfactory, that's the manifesto of the anime fan. Please just make satisfactory shows. They don't need to be excellent. They don't need to be groundbreaking. Just make it satisfactory. Please don't leave me with another record of Ragnarok. Please. Don't do it. Oh, man. And the impact on the staff isn't undoubtedly negative. There's no such thing as an inherently wrong co-production arrangement. Oh, if the results are good enough and people are not hurt, then it is good. Okay, we're getting a little blah on this. Oh, you still don't really get it. Clarify it, and I may be able to translate. I don't understand why this friggin', look at this scroll bar. Look how far down I am, but I'm not even like, geez, I feel like the article should be over at this point. Plenty of collaborations are imbalanced when it comes to spreading the workload and yet perfectly successful in their goals, at least on a mechanical level, if anything, being mindful of the current circumstances of each production company, who has the most available staff at which departments, whose strengths are conceptual, whose are in execution, which rotation is more efficient, so on, is much smarter than splitting piles of work in the middle, like a disengaged King Solomon. Yeah, Record of Ragnarok could still be good. It just needs to finish. It needs to do something. I need more statues holding up Aphrodite's boobies. For better or worse, the most popular modern example would be Darling in the Franxx. On paper was a co-production. Oh, hey, are they gonna tell me I was wrong? Between A1 Clover and Trigger, but in reality, both its conceptualization and execution leaned very strongly towards Aniplex's subsidiaries, to the point that the latter studio essentially didn't touch the entire second half of the show, and yet as much of the thematic train wreck as it ended up being, it maintained its respectable production quality till the end. I'm sorry. That was Trigger bringing the idea game and A1 Cloverworks bringing the drawing game. Just because you don't like that I'm the idea guy doesn't mean we still don't have a partnership going on. Projects can be objectionable on multiple levels and still somewhat succeed in collaborative production management, after all. Tatsunoko dumping nearly all the hands-on work for the Pretty series to its co-producing partner, Korean studio Dongwoo. I love all of my Korean friends. I love all of my Korean audience. I love Korean food. I love Korean dramas. I actually really quite enjoyed Singles Inferno. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, man, what does this guy do for work? That was like my question throughout the entire show. But Dongwoo is so funny. Like, your language is so weird to read in English. Oh, it's funny. On the cheap is questionable morally and qualitatively, but they still achieve a stability for the staff that most TV anime projects will never have. Labor issues in commercial creative projects are complicated like that. In fact, it's even possible for co-production plans to go completely off track and beautifully succeed. The existence of Sarazanmai was first alluded to in a Studio Mappa recruitment campaign that was looking for production assistant work. Okay. Sarazanmai was really interesting. Once the project materialized a couple years later, it did so as a co-production between them and Lapintrack. Lapin. A small studio founded by acquaintances of the director. To the surprise of everyone, it was actually Lapintrack that produced every single episode and special sequence, with their staff handling the majority of the animation and even writing tasks, while undisclosed reasons Mappa did essentially not. I wasn't really sure why they collaborated on this show. I guess they pulled employees from both studios, but it doesn't seem like it has had much effect on the show. Yeah, so from what I can understand, so you have Wit Studio coming off of Bubble, so they just finished Bubble, and you have Cloverworks that just finished Akabi's Sailor Uniform. So as beautiful as Bubble was, everybody was like, "Oh, Bubble's really beautiful. I really like I really like how beautiful everything is." Cloverworks put that much effort into one scene in every single episode of Akabi's Sailor Uniform. You're just randomly like, holy crap, the entire animation budget is sitting here in this episode. And so you have two studios that just worked really hard, drained all their resources in whatever little groups they have here, and then the one wants to start the next thing. But they're not going to have a ton of time, so they, rather than having to just be like last second getting stuff in every week, they both start on episode 1 and episode 2 at the same time. So then we have a 2-week or a 3-week, depending kind of how you time that out. It'll eventually be 2 weeks for each of them to do a single episode. So they have a much easier schedule to get everything done in order to complete the same amount of anime. Why one studio couldn't just double the people? Honestly, look around here. We have a really bad hiring crisis right now, where there's like now hiring signs everywhere because people have been inside for so long they don't know how to get back out. Maybe they're having issues finding new artists. Maybe it could be any number of reasons that they don't have enough staff to be able to just double team size. But it also would be theoretically easier for a studio if you're in production, if you're at the producer level, it's a lot easier for you to say, oh, my team will have a half-sized workload than it would be to say hire more people or put more people on a project within your own group. So saying we can split this however they financially want to split it, it's a lot easier for someone who's making a decision to be able to make a decision that their side of their group will have less work than it would be for trying to double that team size. I'm going to have twice as many people do the same amount of work as we normally do. No way. But if you're like, this many people can have work and they can work at half rate, and you can, however your payment scale works, you're paying them for like half as many episodes. It's a lot easier to sign off on something like that at the end of the day than it is to double teams, because a person who work, I should be bigger. When you're at work, your wage to the company is 3 times whatever you see on paper. So if you work, let's say you work in and you're getting $15 an hour to do something, the company is paying $30 to $45 an hour for you to do that work. That's how much you cost as like a person. So that's why when businesses are so stressful or so stressed on like making sure you stick around, they don't want you to leave. You have a lot of negotiating power when it comes to like, oh, I'm out, I'm gone. Yeah, it depends on the company, of course. Like if you're a peon at Walmart, like they're just gonna kick you out and hire the next peon at Walmart. But you get sufficiently into a business, or when you're a small enough business, you cost a lot to find. And if you are good at what you do, you're also bringing in an insane amount of value on top of the fact that it costs in L&I, in health insurance, in payroll taxes, in everything that goes into you existing at that business is double to 3 times as much as you make hourly. So remember your value when you're at a company. You're worth a lot more than whatever it says on paper to the company, because for some reason what you do brings more value than 3 times whatever you see on that paycheck. So to say, instead of bringing on more people, which would be even more of that sort of cost and everything, you're able to talk to someone and be like, hey, it's half as much work for all these people, but we'll have work for them. That's the important part. It's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, we can join them, we can do that. I'll sign that check. A lot easier there. But except Big Boy Mappa, yeah, no, we're busy. We have to do another animation for a pachinko. Sorry, I can't help this week. I can't do it. I got gambling, you know. This is not gambling though. It's not. Don't tell the government that it's gambling, but you know, we know it. Yeah. It's so stupid. Which did not prevent it from being a fascinating series with a solid schedule and consistent production values. While I'd rather not dwell on negativity too much, a co-production failure is more likely to happen when the workload is spread out evenly without considering the circumstances. In Mappa's case, that would be the more recent collaboration with Madhouse. Man, Mappa and Madhouse on Tact OP Destiny, like that's a really fun show. But I don't get the collab here. Which had the studios alternate between ridiculously uneven levels of quality. Yeah, it's an odd show. Any articles about the chaotic nature of Couple of Kakus? I feel like if there isn't, then the article writers are sleeping. Oh, they've got we read that one article about how they may avoid the thing. Are we done with this one? Did we figure out why they're co-producing? Viewers have a decent grasp of anime. Shock case like overproduction, assuming the co-productions are common. Everybody should know that. Astro Boy. Wow. That's actually kind of cool. Back when we published an article explaining the mechanics and historical context of anime outsourcing. Oh, are they counting outsourcing as collab? Interesting. This article is quite a bit longer. Hey, it's my favorite. You might have heard that Evangelion was a co-production with Tatsunoko, and a look at the personnel alone would tell you that they switched to production IG for End of Eva, a partnership that also brought us Fooly Cooly. But less discussed is the fact that Kare Kano was made alongside JC's staff. And they relied on Madhouse for Nadia. Wouldn't exist without Group Tack. They split the shows with Shaft regularly. Unsung Heroes. Actually, it's all marketing. Yeah, of course. Brought to you by 2 studios. It's gonna be the greatest show you've ever seen. Studio Orange, doing great CG, of course. Everybody knows it. Yeah. Okay, so that's where the article ends. That's still a long article. You want to know about the chaotic nature of cuckoos? Is that what you want? How far did I get into Data Life? I am 5 episodes in, I guess. The frog wearing jacket girl's gone crazy. And so far I'm having fun with it just being like such a classically dating harem anime, but it's also very meta. So I find that kind of funny. I wish when they went to like the questions, that was just like a side gag, that like they go to the answers to the questions, and then they actually would show each of the different people like arguing for what their answer is, so we can kind of see who's arguing for which one. We can get their little name tag again, like guy who dated 100 girls and like guy who's divorced 1,000 people, all of those little things, so that we can be kind of reintroduced to them. And then they would send like the answer, but then that the main character just be like, no, the answer is stupid. I hope it gets to that point, because so far that's sort of the funny and also kind of annoying part of a lot of it, is that he just says whatever they say. But it's okay so far. I'm not really prioritizing watching it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll watch it a bit more. But it's okay so far. It's okay. Couple of cuckoos. Nagi has become the new Shirogane Miyuki for all the right reasons. Erika's worst problem is also her most glamorous. That it's like Tonikawa challenge. Living up to Nisekoi. Threatens to use romance's most disturbing theme. Watch out. Lurking around the corner for every couple. It's incest. What a goofy title. What? There's cuckoos in X-Men? Oh, cuckoos. Sorry, there's cuckoos in X-Men? I don't know enough about X-Men to know if this is a thing or not. No, nobody's got an article about cuckoos, cucked craziness. Sorry. Authors be sleeping. Yep. Why don't you write an article, and then I'll read your article. That'll be our new thing. They're talking about release date. This episode's wholesome. Yes, it was very sweet. I liked this weekend's episode. It was adorable. Episode 2 review. Biggest problem is her Hime Dere lifestyle. Well, how is that a big problem? It's like literally, that's the name of her character. Threatening to use a sibling romance. Episode 1 review. Oh, I need to switch this. Sort by date. There we go. He's like, Kaguya-sama. Release date. No, there's There's no interesting articles about the blah 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 of cuckoos. I just don't. I can't read that word anymore. I'm about to put the Jack Murphy beard on Nagi, and I don't know. He's an okay character for now, but if he makes a misstep, you're gonna know it because I'm gonna put that on my Twitter. I'm gonna put the Jack Murphy beard on Nagi and be like, well, looks like we know why this episode was named this way. We shall see. Anyway, that is everything I had planned for today. We've got some new shows to watch, so it'll be exciting. Healer Girl. I love having an episode of Healer Girl, so that'll be exciting. Maybe I'll catch up on Data Life. Maybe I'll watch some more of that so that we can have that to talk about next tomorrow. But for right now, everybody, thank you for joining me here in Blaine's Escape Corner. It was wonderful talking about anime, talking about how it gets produced, saying that if a show is boring, just pass, just leave, just go watch any of the myriad of amazing shows that are out there that you still have to catch up on. Don't worry, because all you need, you're not going to miss out. Just like we remember earlier, you're not going to miss out on the discussion if you drop Shikimori, because the discussion is this. Wow, isn't that nice how Shikimori protected him when he was in danger? It's so nice to have a nice, wholesome couple that one protects the other all the time. There you go. You can always encounter and interact with the Shikimori crowd if you want to. Thank you, Pop Culture. It was fun chatting. So I will see everyone tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can look that up for your time throughout the rest of the week. Have a good night. Kampai.